computer. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I only have one person here and she has to leave early, but that's okay because, if you want the recording, I'm recording it for some people who said they weren't going to be able to make it. So let's go ahead and dive in. This document, okay, so you'll see over here on the left hand pointing, like you guys can see that. On the left-hand side, there's 3 tabs, okay? And I will put this in the chat in just a second, so that way you can download it. So this is the original Power DPAR session that was done by the creator of Eternal Warriors, Maurice Harker. Now, everyone's brains work a little bit different. And if your brain works different than my brain, that's cool, My brain works different than Maurice's brain. So I kind of simplified it a little bit for myself so that it works for me. So that's the second tab. And this is the one I'm going to work off of tonight. Now, if you are LDS and have a kid in the youth program, I made one for that because I have 2 teenagers. My kids wanted to focus on the 4 areas they teach in the church: spiritual, social, physical, and intellectual. And so I made one for them too. So you're welcome to use that. What you're going to do is you're going to go to File, make a copy, and then you're going to put your own name on it. Markel's copy of, Sarah's copy of, however you want to label that. Okay. So let me pause for a second. And put the link in the chat. I already put it once, but I'll stick it in again. So it pops up for everyone fresh and new. So feel free to copy that as you need. Okay, so I'll resume the screen share. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put the date. So today is 6/2/26. Okay. Now the first thing you want to do, well, after the date is to schedule your next power session. Okay. When we can get that on the schedule before it happens, it's going to be easier for it to be like a cyclical process. And that's the point of this. Okay, so I normally do my DPARs on Sunday afternoon. And so this next Sunday is the 7th. So I'm going to put 6/7/2026. At what time? Well, I get home from church about noon. I have lunch. I have a little power nap, and I'm usually awake by 3. And so 3 o'clock is when I do my power session. Location: in my favorite chair. Okay, now use your phone. Okay, set reminders, So, Siri, set a reminder for Sunday, every Sunday at 3 o'clock to do my power session, to do my DPAR. Okay, or however it is you want to do it. You use Google, you use Siri. Hold on, I woke up my phone. Okay. Now Satan is going to try and get you to get distracted from this. He doesn't want you to grow. He doesn't want you to develop. He just, he wants to distract you from you being the best possible person you can. So Satan will attempt to derail your next session, predict his strategies, and prepare a counterattack. So Markel, I know you've done this before. What are some strategies that Satan uses against you?
He is ruthless.
I know.
Some of the strategies he uses against me is trying to make me feel like I'm doing something wrong when I'm not. And so it boils down to the I'm not good enough. But the new twist is, well, you're doing something wrong. Which under that is you're not good enough, but I have a plan and strategy for you're not good enough. And I'm now needing to discern quicker and faster when he's coming at me with that.
Yeah.
And he likes to repeat it over and over and over. And Not cool.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing. Mine, the challenge is to do my next DPAR is he will tell me to go back to sleep
Ah,
because I do this
yeah.
right
I
after my power session, or you don't have to do it yet.
I get that, but mine is, oh, you don't really have to get up yet. You can
Yeah,
just stay in bed longer.
yeah,
I
yeah.
will say, I actually really do still struggle with that one, if I can be honest. And I do get up. It's just that, if I'm setting my alarm for 6 or 6:30, sometimes I'm not getting out of bed until 7 or 7:30.
Yeah. And can anyone relate with that? Yeah. Um, I
Me,
actually, I actually specifically plan an extra half an hour of lounging in bed just because I like to wake up slowly. And so I'll set my alarm, if I have to be up at 6, I'll set my alarm for 5:30 and I'll snooze it once for 10 minutes and then, I'll roll over and, pull up Facebook or Instagram or something and just wake up slowly. So, but when 6 o'clock rolls around, I'm starting my day. I start with a devotional. Well, that's a whole nother story. So um, the next thing. So once you are have sorry, brain going two directions. Once you've listed your potential distractions and obstacles, come up with a plan ahead of time to overcome them. So, Markel, when Satan whispers, "You're not good enough," into your ear, what do you do to fight him?
so what I do for the I'm not good enough, I do have a plan for that.
Okay.
Normally I'm feeling off. So I've been working this plan probably since like last August.
Okay.
So I'm getting pretty and my plan is, okay, wait, what am I feeling? And noticing it and naming it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do I want to feel instead? So I flip it to what would I like to feel? And then, okay, noticing, okay, so what are the thoughts? What are the intrusive thoughts? The lie. I'm like, it's that one again. You're not enough. And so what I do is I go, okay, wait, I actually am enough. These are all the things that I've done today, and I still have a plan to do these things, so I am enough.
Okay.
And so I'm like, Satan, go away, and I'm going to keep working on this. And so I just really call it out. Now, the new one of you're doing something wrong. See, you're not good enough. It's so dumb. It's not, it is dumb, but it's real,
But it's not.
right? Because
It
he
is real.
knows,
Yeah.
he knows right when to attack me. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
So for that one, man, he was ruthless a couple of weeks ago and just numerous times right in a row. And then there was something that was the kicker. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And it really had my mind going. And I kept saying, it's going to be okay. Just focus on what you need to do. Keep moving forward. Just keep doing what you need, and it's all going to work out. And it did. There happened to be a mistake, and it was fixed. But I tell you what, I was sure going, wow, why is this happening again? Um, and then I just kept holding, and things actually improved. And I'm like, okay, you're going to be all right. That one was really hard, and yet I didn't fall apart. I didn't go into a shame spiral.
Mm-hmm.
It was turbulent, and yet I just kept focusing on what I needed to do, what I know, I'm called to do, and I just kept moving forward, and it actually worked out okay. But
Cool.
but I'm a little bit gun shy, a little bit going, okay, where's that going to come up again? Because it never feels good. So
Yeah.
I think I feel like I navigated some of the similar things that he's tried to do, but he just changed it. I think I navigated it much better
Cool.
in that it wasn't necessarily about me.
Yeah. And
Where you go into the shame.
I think you're bringing up a really good point that when you are overcoming these, intrusive thoughts, um, it takes practice. Excuse me. Even if you plan ahead what to say, sometimes you have to, build that not muscle memory, but that neural pathway so that it becomes automatic. So just want to say, hey, Jessica, glad you're here. So for me, when I wake up and I know it's time to stay awake to do my DPAR, and Satan's like, go back to sleep. You have another half an hour. You know, I'm 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 a little brutal when it comes to Satan. I will just say, shut up, Satan. Like,
Good.
I was like, I'm not listening to you. And yeah, and just that positive self-talk that Markel was talking about can really help. You don't have to do it yet, you can wait until 4. And I'll tell Satan, knowing that in my brain I'm talking to Satan, sometimes verbally talking to Satan. My husband thinks it's kind of weird. Like I'll roll over from my comfy spot on the couch and just be like, shut up, Satan. My husband will be like, okay. But I'll also tell myself, like, you don't have to do it yet. And it's like, no, guess what? I do need to do it now because, 4 o'clock this happens and 5 o'clock it's on dinner. Then 6:30 I leave to pick up my kids from their dad. It's like, no, if I'm going to do this and it's my goal to do this, I'm going to have to do it now. So, yeah. So there's the next step: anticipating and overcoming intrusive thoughts and the challenges. Now, if you're brand spanking new at this, you might not have teammates yet. But if you do decide to join the Eternal Warriors program, we'll get you some teammates. And this can be a very helpful tool. If I know like that I'm doing my DPAR, here at my house, and like an hour south of me, my bestie's doing her DPAR at the same time. And occasionally we'll text. But having a teammate, it can be your spouse. It can be just another friend who wants to learn these self-mastery tools. It can be anybody you want. Or if you do join Eternal Warriors, we can find you some teammates. So your ultimate teammate is the Holy Ghost, is that inspiration from God through the Holy Spirit. So make sure you invite those people. Beware. Oh, this is so important. Satan likes you to feel like you're alone. He likes you to feel like you're isolated. And so do not tell yourself, or do not let him tell you, it's fine, I don't need a teammate. When you're first starting and you don't have one yet, fine. But find someone that you can be accountable with. Do not let Satan think you're fine on your own. You might be, but that extra accountability. My kids are learning about accountability partners right now. And yeah, so the next step, plug into power, get grounded in divine guidance. So double check that you are at a 0 on the chemical scale. That's another tool you learn in Eternal Warriors. And that just means you're in your zone. You're like a pianist that's about to go out on stage and, play the piano piece, or like an athlete who's about to go out, and do their sport. You're in your zone. Jessica, I saw you unmute for a second. Do you have a question? Okay, if you do, just unmute again and just say hi, Dave.
Sorry, Heidi. It just took me a minute to get unmuted again.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to remind people to use wisdom with who they choose as their accountability partner, because if you're choosing somebody who is going to benefit from you making certain choices, allowing them to have a significant part in your planning can be a challenge.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
It might be that, yes, I'm going to use my spouse, but I'm not going to ask my spouse when it comes to my stewardship over the house. Maybe I'll do certain things with my spouse, and maybe I'll do certain things with a friend or a sister or somebody else.
Yes, that is very wise. Thank you for sharing. And we'll go into a little bit later about about something along that line. So thank you. So the next step, use prayer, just connect with God. Use reading or a listening activity to help further ground you in your connection to God. Remind yourself what it feels like in your heart, in your mind, your body, and your spirit when you're plugged in, when you're in that zone. Okay, so in Eternal Warriors, we do a one of the first lessons is on your identity, your purpose, and your mission. And so you're going to do that. It kind of gives you your long-term GPS goal about the direction that you're heading. And then your stewardships. Everybody has different stewardships. It's kind of like all the different hats you wear. And so like for example, I'm a life coach, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter of God, I'm a grandma. And these are all stewardships. Sorry, I just remembered I was supposed to text my stepdaughter today. Making a note. Okay, squirrel. Welcome to my brain when my ADHD meds have worn off. Okay, so think about the different stewardships that you have. If you have like responsibilities or callings at church or at work or your job, remember to list those. So every week when we sit down to do our DPAR, we pick a stewardship we're going to focus on. Now, it doesn't have to be different every week. Like I've been working on my daughter of God stewardship for a long time, like a really long time, because there's a lot of religious rituals that I want to get better at that I'm not doing as well as I would like. So that's one that I've been focusing on. So now, if this is your first time doing a DPAR, you're going to skip reflect and you're going to go to discover. Okay, because we discover first, then plan, and then act. And then at our next DPAR, we're going to start discover. Our reflect is going to be like the step into the discover, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So let's start with the discover, since a lot of you are going to be new to this. And so what are some things? So let's say, okay, let's see. I know, Markel, you have to leave soon. So Jessica.
Yeah, I've got about 6 minutes. So,
okay. So Jessica, are you open to being used as a guinea pig?
Sure.
Okay. So Jessica, what is a stewardship that you've been focusing on right now or been focusing on lately?
Oh wow. I have been focusing on both the management of the household and also on the trying to increase financial prosperity.
Okay, so pick one for today.
Let's do finances.
Finances. Okay, awesome. Okay, so do you have any new insights, tools, or strategies that you have discovered?
Well, I did consider that the upstairs of the 6-bedroom house could be completely converted into a apartment.
Okay.
And I actually have a friend that has been looking for an apartment. And so then I went through the list of what would need to be done in order to make it a rentable apartment space, which includes adding a bathtub or a shower to one of the bathrooms.
Okay, so idea number one, convert part of the house into an apartment. Do you have any other ideas that have come up?
Well, I've already kind of looked at some of my other ideas. I'm doing a little
Okay.
bit of work online,
Okay.
and I have applied to a job, but unfortunately my vehicle broke down, and they're just waiting for me to fix the vehicle so that I can get myself there reliably.
Okay.
And so that job is available when my vehicle is fixed. And I am doing everything I can do on that aspect.
Okay.
So I was doing some discovery work to look at out of the box ways. And I was also looking at, in the next few months, there can be some increases in financial responsibilities, especially as we get into the fall and prepare for the holiday season.
Okay.
Um, so I was thinking it was good to look at another avenue. Well, I've already worked so much on the standard. Let me just some employment.
Okay. So they're hobbies, and I meant to say holidays. Okay. So have you found any good sources of information for what you've been working on?
Well, one thing that I considered was in order to have the money to do a bathroom renovation,
Mhm.
we would need to reduce the mortgage,
Mm,
which would mean refinancing.
okay.
And the rates just went down again, so it would be a good time to refinance. Now that decision is not in my hands, so I have posed it to the person who gets to make the decision there.
Yeah. Okay.
And if it turns out that a refinance is in order, then that saved money can go into a bank
Mhm.
until we have enough to make that alteration.
Yeah.
And then it's that then um, rooms that are not really utilized in the home can provide about $1,000 a month. And I already have a friend that has looked at living with me as an option already, and is has been looking for a better situation for a while. Something that's affordable and something that um, feels like a good, wholesome living environment.
Yeah. So sounds like if this all works out, you're going to be able to help provide that for her. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Um, your long-term GPS goal in being more financially stable. What's your long-term goal?
Long term, I want to be able to provide for the home on my own,
Okay,
which I cannot currently.
okay. And your short-term or like immediate goals.
My immediate goals
Yeah,
are to
financial
make
goals.
sure that I make these decisions wisely, looking at the long-term perspectives, with great significance, because I should be going into the hospital pretty soon for my mastectomy.
Okay.
So since I have this big surgery coming up. There's no urgency to get into work.
Yeah, so you're just kind of taking things one bite at a time, so to speak.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Awesome.
I can't rush when there is the surgery on the way, and
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Now, the next thing you do after, not just you, Jessica, but everyone that's listening, your next step, a part of the discover, is to make a menu. So like if you go out to eat, you're not going to order everything off the fish menu and everything off the beef menu and everything off the pasta menu, because you just don't need to eat that much food. You got to pick something. And so what we're going to do right now, Jessica, is make a menu. Okay. This is your list of things that you can choose from that you're going to work on right now. So out of the things you've talked about, converting part of the house to the apartment, working online, reducing your mortgage, etc. What are a few things that you could do like right now, like within the next week or two?
well, I can look into some good lenders
Oh, I love
and have that information available for those that do make the decisions.
that. Okay. So, what else could you do?
I can look into the permits and the costs associated with adding a bathtub.
Okay.
And I can, I tried to actually spend some more time doing some online work today, and my computer gave me a hard time.
Oh,
Right. So I think I fixed it. I
mhm.
think I actually was able to fix my own computer error, which is amazing. It
Yeah.
took a little bit of time to figure out how, but hopefully my computer will be um, not giving me the trouble and acting like it needs replaced
Mhm.
that it has been.
Yeah.
I had a screw that fell out, and so it wasn't charging well because the frame of the computer was kind of pushing up against the charging spot, so it wasn't seated well, and it wasn't making a good connection, so it wasn't charging well.
Okay. So it sounds like you got gotten that under control. So, are there some things? So the next thing we're going to talk about is um, what's called, hold on, I'm looking for something. Um, what's called the intentional neglect list. So, based on these things that you're thinking about, you can work on this week. Is there anything that you're going to have to intentionally ignore, including items that other people may want you to be working on? Because remember, guys, this is about you. Okay. You and what you feel is that God is pulling you towards, not what your husband wants or your kids want or anything like that. It's about you. You are allowed to be selfish doing a DPAR. I'm giving you permission. Okay. So, Jessica, is there anything you are going to have to intentionally neglect?
I have to intentionally neglect my deep desire to, you know, secure things with the potential job
Okay. Yeah.
because I just cannot move into that position.
Mhm.
Um, I'm probably going to put a lot of my time into that menu action piece of the online work. And
Okay.
so when I do that, I'm going to have to intentionally neglect some of the um, extra housework.
Oh, yeah.
I've been I've been doing extra, not just what's needed.
Mhm.
And I'm going to have to drop down to what's needed for a couple of days so that I can make sure that I get that time in.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Is there anyone that needs to be informed that, hey, I'm neglecting this thing right now because there's something else that's more important to me?
Yes, I could remind my son's dad that I am going to be taking a little bit more time so that I can put some towards that online work.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so the next step is you take your menu of ideas, look into lenders, compile information, look into permits and cost, etc. You pick your menu item now. This is when you go from a whole list of pasta options to one. So it sounds like your from your act menu, you want to focus on online work this week.
Yes.
Okay.
And, once I have done that, then if I wanted to, then I could take the little bit that it would take for ChatGPT to help me find lenders.
Yeah. Now, okay, so focusing on your online work, do you have a particular number of hours you would like to work this week?
I would be amazing if I could get three um, 3 extra hours compared to, last week and the week before. That would
Okay.
be amazing.
So how many total?
Um, 4.
So, okay, so 4 online hours. Awesome. Now, the next step is to decide and visualize. Okay. So think about your calendar, what you have going on. I know you have a son, I think a son, right?
Yes.
Okay. Whew, sorry if I would have gotten that wrong. Okay. So when are you actually going to fit in these hours? Let's make a plan now. Okay. Pick days of the weeks and times, etc.
So the best days would be tomorrow and Thursday. Tomorrow would be the best.
Okay. So what times?
Um, 5 to 8
Five
would
to eight
be great for
p.m.
3 hours.
Okay.
So I guess 4:30 to 8:30 would probably be my best to get the 4.
Okay. Do you want to divide them up into 2 different days, or do you want to get 4 a day?
Um, I think it is better for me to try for 4 in the first day, because if something happens, I have the contingency of having that second day. And I know that second day I'm having an appointment with my surgical oncologist.
Okay.
So there could be some um, it's possible that information could challenge the
Yeah,
plan.
yeah, that makes sense. But the important thing is you've decided when. And I would recommend you putting it on your calendar, because when are on a calendar and they are, with an alarm or with a reminder, it's most likely going to happen. Like more likely going to happen than it's just this random like idea floating in the cloud. And yeah, it's just more firm. Okay, so remember everyone, put it on your calendar and then tell anyone who may be impacted or accidentally disrupted, you know? So whoever you have to tell, you need to, hey kids, you want to know something? I know we normally spend Wednesday night together as a family, but I gotta put my coach hat on. I gotta put my mom or whatever hat on. My and focus on work tonight. Okay. So communicate that, for somebody else, it might be like, hey, Hubs, love you, but can we do date night tomorrow night? Because tonight I have to work. Okay. So however that looks for all of you. Okay. Now, the next step. So we've done the D, the discover, made the menu, we planned, and now we act. We do the thing. Okay. So let's see. Okay, we're running short on time, so and I want to go back and do the discover. And so we're just going to go through this part real quick. Um, so next you identify the tools and the tools and methods that will help increase your follow through. So if you have habit trackers, reminders, like I'm not going to say I'm super extra, but I kind of am because I have like, I'm so reliant on my Google Calendar on my phone, but I also take everything off my phone and put it in my paper planner, which I don't have out in my office to share with you guys. Um, because I like the reminders that pop up on my phone. But when I'm working, I like to have my planner next to me because like I have to schedule out by the day because I have so many different how would you call it? um, responsibilities. I'm an independent contractor for a few different organizations. Um, I just I I need to schedule everything, plus the stuff I do for my own Heidi Davies coaching. So yeah, calendars and lists are like my besties. um, List of potential distractions and obstacles. So, just as an example, my mother-in-law lives with me and my husband. And this past Friday, like 5 days ago, my mother-in-law got a pacemaker. She's been having problems with her heart. Her heart rate's either like 40 or like 130. And so they thought that would be a good idea. Um, and so this week, because I knew I would be the one home during the day with grandma, um, I listed that as a potential distraction. And this week I was significantly less um, rigid with my scheduling because it's okay. Sometimes you have to be because it's important for me to make sure that, my mother-in-law has all of her, needs taken care of while she's in this tough recovery time. Okay, so you list the distractions and obstacles and plan to overcome them. I'm not planning to overcome my mother-in-law, but if however, whatever you guys' obstacles may be, when it comes to getting the job done, list them and plan a way to overcome them. Okay, so now, so let's say, okay, so Jessica, you've let me find the right review. Okay, so let's say Jessica, she's made her plan. She's going to get more hours. Wednesday and maybe Thursday, get anything that she missed. And so when you sit down to do your next B part, Jessica, what you're going to
Yes.
do is review the week. Okay, so your goals for Wednesday and Thursday, you're going to sit there and ask yourself, well, how did they go? Were you successful in your work? So let's just pretend, let's pretend it's next week, Jessica. Were you successful in your goals? Do a
Well,
little
I'm
like,
going to say that yes.
yes, you were successful. Okay, I love that positivity. Okay. Um, Finish goals. Um, okay. Was there a way that you struggled at all?
I'm going to anticipate
Okay.
that to have yes, I might have to do a couple of hours on Thursday because there might be something on Wednesday. If it's not a computer thing, it might be an important phone call. There's
Mhm.
normally something when you schedule out a block of time
Yeah.
that interferes. So
Okay.
I'm going to say that stating that, 6 to 8 p.m. on Thursday,
Mhm.
saved the day.
Yeah.
And I was able to complete it all.
Okay, I love that. So now a lot of people, when they are doing this, doing the review, um, it's human nature to focus on the negative. I can tell a story about that, but we don't have time right now. But it's human nature to focus on the negative. It's, anyways, focus, Heidi. So when you are going through this, the next time you sit down for your DPAR, okay, so I'm gonna switch to myself as an example. I did my DPAR this past Sunday, a couple days ago. And my next one is, I put the wrong date there. My next one is 6/7. Okay. And my goals, I'm working right now, like I mentioned before, on some of my religious rituals, like reading the scriptures, reading my Sunday school lesson, saying my prayers, etc. Um, and I have that on the calendar to do 5 mornings a week, usually Monday through Friday. Sometimes I'm like really ambitious and I get Saturday done too. I'm really proud of myself. Usually on days where my husband is working, when he has to work overtime, I can be a little more focused. So let's say that like 4 or 5 days a week, I got it done, like maybe 4 days a week. But this morning, true story, this morning I woke up and I was so nauseous and I don't know why. And so I was just like, my alarm had gone off. I was laying there in bed, with just like, oh, please don't make me have to move today. And so I laid there like in the fetal position until my daughter came in and was like, Mom, it's time to go to school. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I got up and I took her to school, came back. This is usually where I do a workout. I have like 15, 20 minutes between the time I get back from taking my daughter to the high school and when I have to take my son to the middle school. And usually it's like a 10, 15-minute walking workout, or maybe if I focus on my biceps or my quads or my glutes or something. I went right back to bed. I told my son, I'm like, I'm sick. Come get me in 20 minutes, you know? And so I went straight back to bed. I did not work out this morning, just because for whatever reason I was feeling nauseous. So that's an area that I struggled um, is having that as having that nausea this morning get me off of my routine. Um, but I'm not going to be hard on myself. I'm not going to say like, well, I sucked at that, because I did what I needed to do in order to function. And so the note here, do not be thorough. Only look for the first few things God brings to mind. Okay. Really important when you're doing a review, if you review, especially when you're doing your failures, because you don't want to beat yourself up. Okay. We're talking, bring in some self-compassion, bring in some understanding. And you have improved, but you are not there yet. And it's okay if you still have a way to go. I mean, when it comes to like neural pathways are, think divots in the road. I live in the desert. There's dirt roads all around. And there's certain pathways in the roads that when it rains, we get, the mini Grand Canyon, that, people have to go around, or we just can't go down that street anymore. And it takes a lot of time. Like we've done this as a community, to fill up that divot, that was in the road, and find a different way for the water to run off during a rainstorm. Um, and that's what's going on in our brains. Okay. When we have to, when we're developing a new pathway, let's see, what time is it? Okay, I'm going to tell this quick story. Okay, here we go. Don't laugh at me. When I was a little girl, I'm like 2 years old, and I have a picture of it, and this is why I remember. I fell and I scraped my knee outside. And my mom came out, and I was, according to her, I don't remember, inconsolable. Like pretty good size scrape on my knee. But my mom, do you want me to hug it? Me hug you? Do you want me to kiss it better? Should we put a Band-Aid on it? Do you need to call daddy at work? I've always been a daddy's girl, still am. Do we need to call daddy at work? Do we need to call grandma and grandpa? She was trying to, and I was just, no, 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 and just crying and crying. And my mom finally asked her, Heidi, what do you want? And I was like, I want a cheese sandwich. So I said, don't laugh. So at the age of 2 years old, I already had a pathway in my brain from despair to food. Y'all, I've been working on a 51 years old. I've been working on building a new pathway for 10 years. Okay, that's a hard one to overcome. Okay, so it's okay if you're not there yet. It's okay if it takes time. It's all a matter of growth. And I mean, I wish growth looked like that, but it doesn't. It looks like that, as long as your general path, your general direction is heading up. So be kind to yourself and realize where you need to push yourself a little bit harder and exercise self-compassion. A lot of these the reflects are a balance between those two things. Okay, so it's a Sunday afternoon. I've done my reflect. Now I'm going to go straight into my discover. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes when you go into the discover, you're working on the same goal, So like I said, it's taking me a while to get my early morning religious ritual goals under control. I'm going to stop sharing. Yeah, it takes a while to get those habits built from nothing. And so I've been working on this on and off for like 3 months, and occasionally I'll go to something else, I'll feel like God pulling me another direction, but I'm still coming back to that. And that's okay. But other times, that you're working on the same goal and the same parts of a goal for 3 months. Other times you're going to work on something for a week and then God's going to go like, nope, I need you over here. And that's why it's important to have a good relationship with God. So that way he can guide you to where he wants you to be working. I've been feeling that in one of my church responsibilities. So I've recently been putting a lot more time into that. So I'm going to pull up a website real quick. So this DPAR is a vital, like foundational part of the Eternal Warriors program through Life-Changing Services. I decided to do this workshop because I love the DPAR. And if all you ever do is, take the document I shared and implement it into your lives, do it once a week, a couple times a week, perfect. If you want to learn more tools, we have a couple of workshops that I want to, a workshop, brain, slow down. We have a couple of different classes that we do. There's the workshop, Eternal Warriors workshop, and the link there. If you want to work one-on-one, you can do that. If you go to the list of coaches on that website, if you're like, this is really cool, but Heidi, you're just not my style, there are a handful of other coaches there that you can work with. Pick one of them. It's $30 for a one-on-one session. And we'll have you have as many of those as you need until until you're confident with the principles. We also have another program called Circles. And that is with one mentor and a group of people. And basically what we're doing is we are just running through these tools. So I sit there in I have a circle Tuesday at 11 o'clock Pacific time. And I run, I only have a couple people attending right now, but I run people through DPARs. We do what's called lost battle analyses. So when you look back and go, where did I let Satan get me off of my, off of my game? We look at our identity, purpose, and mission statements to see if we need to tighten up those in order to be more focused in our personal journeys. So if you are interested, go to this website. I'm looking this way because it's on my other screen here. There's an Eternal Warrior self-paced book. You need to download that if you're going to do the circles. Oh, I didn't say the circles are only $7.50 a week, guys. That's like $30 a month. It's so freaking affordable. You're going to have to buy the self-paced workbook if you're going to do that, but you're invited to do that. A little bit further down, there is a place to register for the full classes. So yeah, you can look at that. You can pick a mentor and whatnot. So those are the options you have. If you're interested, please reach out to me. I'm going to put my email address in the chat, as well as my phone number. Heidi at HeidiDaviesCoaching.com. My cell phone number, 760-447-5126. Oh, and my booking link. If you want to book a free consultation, you are totally invited to do that. Yeah, so book a free consultation if you want to learn more. I'm happy to help you out with that. So if you're interested in learning more about the Eternal Warriors program, or just need a little more help being guided through the DPAR, please feel free to reach out. That's what I'm here for. So Jessica, do you have any questions before we go?
No, no. I
Okay.
think it was great. There's so much that I have learned through this program, and I will say that your workshop is your circles
Mhm.
is that's a really nice space. I really enjoy the couple times that I have come to that.
Oh, thank you, Jessica. That's very kind of you to say. So, so again, if anyone has any questions, my email address and phone number and booking page are in the chat. Thank you for spending this time with me, whether you did it live or you watched the recording. So let me pause the recording and
Oh, hey
yes.
Heidi.
Mhm,
What they're probably not getting a sense of is when you go through this, having done it like the week before, and
mhm,
you come in and you're like, man, I stink because I had this plan. And yes, I completed A, B, C, D, and then I only did half of E.
mhm.
And I messed up half of E so badly, and I feel terrible about it.
Yeah.
And it's such a wonderful experience to have it pointed out how much you succeeded on, and then to, just have it problem solved
Mhm.
so that you're getting to where it all actually gets accomplished.
Yeah. And
And
that's a really positive, really helpful reason to sorry, y'all, my ADHD meds wore off and my brain is just going way faster than my mouth can keep up. Um, um, that's a really useful part of the circles is you'll have, somewhere between 2 and 10 other people there to bounce ideas off of. And there's a lot of power in that group dynamic where where you can pull from one another. And so like I was talking about, when you're doing your reflect, there's a certain amount of self-compassion that needs to be that you need to exercise with yourself because it's vital that you are able to focus on the positive. I did this, I totally kicked that's butt. I did this, and you want to know something? I suffered a little bit here, but that's okay. Then you start to discover how can I, how can I ever overcome why I didn't do as well as I wanted to? And that's why this is kind of a cyclical theme, you know, is, your not your first DPAR, but your subsequent always start with that reflect, because that reflect can lead you right into your discover. Okay, I had this problem. How am I going to overcome it? There was one thing I was having a hard time with, and I went to like our mentor training meeting, and I was like, okay, y'all, I need help. And like people were throwing out ideas, and one person said something, and my brain was like, oh. That's it. That's my answer. You know, been working on this for like 2.5 weeks, and why could I not figure out myself? I don't know. But that's why we have teammates. So anyways, so thank you for coming. Those, like I said, those who came live, and I will get this out to those of you who aren't able to make it. So bye, and have fun.
Thank you, Heidi.
You're welcome.